Welcome to Classified Captures.
Steve here, and today we've got a wild lineup of clips ranging from evidence of conspiracies you've never heard of to clips of cryptids you never even knew were out there. Ready to have your mind blown? Let's dive right in. The individual filming this was exploring when he felt a strange presence in the woods with him. A little scared and a bit curious, he turned on his torch and his camera and started looking around, hoping to find whatever it was that was giving him that feeling. A few seconds later into his search, he noticed something or someone hiding behind the bushes staring at him. Initially, he thought it might be his imagination, but as he pointed the lights and kept watching, it became apparent that there was something out there. Knowing there was something out there was the first part of the puzzle. Finding out what it really was the next. After filming for some seconds, the one recording wasn't sure what it was, but he knew he didn't have to stay any longer. He got the hell out of the place and shared the clip online. Many who saw it told him he had encountered the spirit of the forest. They told him he was lucky to be alive and it made him shudder. While this was ongoing, few in the community who were more logical thinkers than believers pointed out the clip was fake. To them, all the signs that the clip had been edited were right there in the video and they rejected it. This led to an all-out keyboard war, and frankly speaking, there were no winners. You've seen the clip of contention, so what do you also think? Still on strange creatures, take a look at this clip. What do you see when you look at this clip? The individual who uploaded this stated they were out doing research in the woods when they came across a large creature lurking around. When it noticed they had discovered it, it made a run to its hideout in the ground. They couldn't see much of it, but from what they could see, it had large reflective eyes and unusual skin that left even the most seasoned of them baffled. Naturally, a story like this gets everyone interested, and the community did not disappoint. Some shared close encounters with lizard creatures like this, which were all intense. That at least was the case until some individuals in the community pointed out that this was nothing more than a large Komodo dragon. This got people taking second and third looks, and they confirmed it was indeed a Komodo dragon. This got everyone questioning the authenticity and credibility of the story. Some called the uploader out for lying, whereas others defended him and stated that this was not a Komodo dragon. If we've got a herpetologist here, can you kindly help? While the herpetologists help us with the previous clip, all experts in the paranormal should gather here for this one. This was recorded by a family whose bonding and enjoyment time was interrupted by an ominous presence they just couldn't put their finger on. They owned a property in a wooded area, and while exploring and having fun in those woods when the whole thing was starting. Worried and a bit scared, they made their way back to their home. Once there, however, they felt like whatever was making them uneasy in the woods had followed them back home. One of them, who suspected it would be easier to see a paranormal being via a camera, started to record the whole interaction. After a few seconds of recording, he noticed what you see on your screen. It does appear to be a humanoid being, albeit, it was not human. It had black eyes and a face that seemed distorted. Once the whole family saw it, they experienced fear they had never experienced before. But that was not all. One of them pointed out that there were 2 pairs of eyes to the right staring at them. Those eyes belonged to creatures that were much taller than they had been focused on. None stepped out until it was daytime, and when daytime came, the creatures were nowhere to be found, but they uploaded this asking one simple question. What did we encounter in our home in the woods? They're yet to get a satisfactory answer. Can you help? A homeowner in El Salvador noticed something very odd on his security camera and was so confused and terrified that he decided to share the footage online. Here's what he captured. It was late at night and the camera was pointed toward his front yard where there was a small shed. In the dim light, a goat was standing silently, nibbling at the grass. And then something even stranger happened. A small, almost ethereal ghost walked right past one of the animals in the yard. This entity appeared for just a few seconds before vanishing as mysteriously as it had arrived. The homeowner said he'd never seen anything like this before, and viewers of the video were equally shocked. Many initially speculated that this could be the ghost of a child who had passed away, a common explanation in local lore. However, one person commented that this might instead be what is known in Indonesian and Malaysian folklore as a tuyul. A tuyul is described as a small mischievous goblin or spirit that is sometimes invoked through black magic. Shamans are said to summon these entities for various purposes, usually to steal wealth or bring about fortune for those who control them. Their presence is often considered both a curse and a sign of dark, mysterious forces at work. Either that or someone lost their baby in the night, which, if you ask me, is the least likely option. Anyway, perhaps my bias for the paranormal is blinding me, but what do you guys think is going on here?
There's nobody in that house. There's nobody at all.
Being in the neighborhood watch sounds like a nice idea until you start seeing things move at unnatural speeds in the room of your neighbor. The lady in this clip found out the hard way. Her neighbor asked her to help keep an eye on her home while the neighbors were away, and she agreed. I mean, it was a no-brainer since the neighbor lived directly opposite her. It was going well until she noticed that the dogs were barking with no cause. At least, that's what she initially thought until she got closer to the house. Once she got closer, she noticed there was someone in the room. Her first thought was that there was an intruder. The closer she got, the more it became apparent to her that it was indeed an intruder, although it was none of the human kind. She then quickly advised herself and did a 180-degree turn. Sometimes being alive is more important than being the perfect neighbor. Fortunately, she had someone recording and could show the recording to the neighbor on her return. Even with the video, however, they couldn't figure out who or what was going on in the house. They were even more confused when they opened the house and realized that there was no one in it and that there was also no evidence that anyone had ever been in it. As always, the paranormal community had many theories, from spirits of the damned to creatures from other dimensions. There are a few who felt the whole thing might be a hoax. When you've seen the clip, so what do you think?
There's nobody in that house. There's nobody at all.
No sé, pero no parece un avión. No sé qué fue eso, pero cayó aquí cerca.
Next, we visit Austin, where a man believes he might have just recorded footage of a UFO. It was supposed to be a day like any other, only it was not, because there was an unidentified flying object in the sky. This object flew and somehow landed in an area not far from him. Being the brave adventurer he was, he headed to the location and found it in flames. Before he could properly explore, law enforcement arrived and insisted he delete the videos he had recorded so far. In fact, they stood there and made sure he deleted the clips, but thank God for recycle bins. Once he was out of their presence, he recovered the clips and shared what they are seeing online. He couldn't get the juicier things because he was stopped. He did mention that since uploading the clips, he's been having strange visitors at his workplace. It was so unsettling that he started staying home. Even then, they started visiting his home, and when he shared this story, it naturally went viral because, well, who doesn't love a good alien story? While some tried to get more info from him, there was one person who did a critical analysis of the clip and stated what the man had seen was most likely a nautical flare and not a UFO. For those unfamiliar with them, nautical flares are visual distress signals used at sea to indicate emergencies, typically burning brightly in red or orange to attract attention. They can be mistaken for UFOs because they burn intensely, hover, or drift in the sky, and sometimes move unpredictably due to the wind. Their bright, long-lasting glow and sudden appearance can confuse observers unfamiliar with maritime distress signals. They can also catch fire when they land in dry areas, but, well, this is Austin. How does one end up there? While it's highly unlikely, it's not impossible. If a maritime distress flare was launched over a body of water near Austin, such as Lake Travis or the Colorado River, it could, under the right conditions, drift over land. However, since Austin is far from the coast, the chances of a true nautical flare reaching the city from the ocean are practically zero. At least that's what Julius says. So what do you think? The most chilling images are always the ones where you take a picture and end up capturing something completely unexpected in the background. Just the thought of something unseen watching you without even knowing is deeply unsettling. That's exactly what happened to this dog owner. She lived alone with her 2 furry companions and had just returned from a late-night walk with them. After settling in, she decided to take a cute photo of one of her dogs who had climbed up onto a chair. At first, it seemed like nothing more than an innocent moment until she sent the picture to someone and they told her to take a second look. In the doorway, just behind the dog, was a dark humanoid figure lurking in the shadows. It was completely black, standing eerily still and appeared to be wearing a hood. The figure blended into the darkness, but its presence was unmistakable. It was watching her and her dog the entire time. Once she shared this image, there was one question that lingered in the minds of everyone who saw it. Was this an actual person or something paranormal? If it was an intruder, that alone is terrifying. Someone standing silently in the dark inside her home without her noticing, that's every homeowner's worst nightmare. But with intruders, at least there's a physical presence to confront. In this case, that doesn't seem to be what happened. Instead, whatever it was just stood there staring in her direction. Many have linked the eerie encounter to shadow people, which are mysterious figures that have long unsettled believers in the supernatural. If you're new to this, the paranormal community widely believes these shadowy entities could be spirits, manifestations of hauntings, or even interdimensional beings. Whether it was human or something else, one thing is certain. Something was there that night, watching. But what was it? I guess we will never know unless you guys have some insight into the whole thing we're not aware of. Take a good look at this photograph. Do you see the individual standing in the window? They're a mix of children and adults. I know what you're probably thinking. Why am I showing you images of individuals in their apartment building or hospital? And you wouldn't be wrong for thinking that, but you aren't right either. The location in the image is Waverly Hills, and if you're unfamiliar with it, the Waverly Hills Sanatorium, located in Louisville, Kentucky, is one of the most famous haunted places in the U.S. Originally opened in 1910 as a tuberculosis hospital, it housed thousands of patients during the early 20th century when the disease had no cure. Due to the high death toll, the hospital even had a body chute, a tunnel used to discreetly remove the deceased to avoid lowering morale among patients. After closing in 1961, Waverly Hills became a magnet for ghost stories with claims of shadow figures, ghostly voices, and apparitions of former patients. Paranormal investigators often report strange occurrences, making it a hotspot for ghost tours and supernatural enthusiasts. This image was captured recently when there was no one supposed to be there. Do you think the rumors and everything we've heard about the place are true? Do you have first-hand experience? Kindly share your thoughts with us in the comments section.
Age of lab-grown meat has arrived in this country. The Agriculture Department just approved 2 California companies to sell chicken grown in steel tanks using cells that come from an animal egg or a special bank of stored cells. The cell-cultivated chicken will first be available at a restaurant in San Francisco and another one in Washington, D.C., owned by famed chef Jose Andres, before hitting stores.
With all the strange things going on around us, you would think the things we're familiar with will stay familiar. Well, it turns out that that's not the case. Now we also have to worry about whether or not we're even eating real meat anymore. 2 major food companies have officially been given the green light to produce lab-grown meat. Yeah. Meat made in a lab and distributed to various food establishments to start selling. To be honest, I'm not even shocked anymore. With all the plastic, rubber, and questionable food ingredients that have been exposed over the years, is it really a stretch to think that lab-grown meat has already been introduced into the food system without us even knowing? Maybe they're just making it official now. The real question is, will people even care? Some will argue that lab-grown meat is a solution to factory farming and environmental issues, while others are deeply concerned about what's really in it and whether it's safe for long-term consumption. What kind of modifications have been made? Will there be side effects that we don't know about yet?
You know what? My heart's racing just thinking about that. Let's move on to the next one.
Have you ever thrown sand into the air and watched it go? No? Well, then you missed out as a kid. If you have, did it ever become something like this? If it's not already clear, he threw sand up into the sky and it looks like it became some sort of whirlwind, or at least took the shape of one. Well, that's not normal, right? Many who saw this believed it was a glitch in the Matrix. Some also pointed out that it could be energy fields being way over my head. I saw Julius's opinion and learned a thing or two. According to him, this could be explained by natural air currents interacting with the sand. If there was already a small dust devil or an updraft present, throwing sand into the air would make the invisible airflow visible, given the appearance that the sand itself formed into a whirlwind. Dust devils are common in dry open areas with heated ground surfaces, and even a slight disturbance like tossing sand can make them even more noticeable. He also mentioned that if the person threw the sand into a sudden gust of wind, it could momentarily swirl into a vortex-like motion before dispersing. Less exciting, I know, but his explanations are always logical. Either way, what do you think is more likely, a glitch in the Matrix or what Julius said? Someone noticed something moving up in the trees, so they looked up. According to the witness, they saw something perched on a high branch. Now, since it was dark, whatever this thing was must have been either black-furred or completely shadowed, because it's hard to make out any clear details in the footage, except for a very faint humanoid figure, and it appeared to be crouched on a branch completely still. Some say it's just an animal up there, but the paranormal community is positive that it could be a skinwalker. You've seen the clip too? What do you think it is? Speaking of things in the dark, we got this clip from a truck driver. He was driving one evening when a small child suddenly appeared in the middle of the road. The funny thing is, the child had this ethereal feel to her, and the car did not have any contact even though it passed the very place she suddenly appeared at. Being the responsible driver he was, he found a safe place to park and decided to inspect his vehicle to make sure he hadn't hurt or harmed anyone. After inspecting his car, there was no evidence of him hitting anything or anyone. He had his camera running at this point for evidence sake. After searching for a while, he found nothing until a little girl appeared out from behind the truck. At least he thought it was a little girl. He couldn't get the girl to respond to him, and after seeing her a few times, he realized she didn't exactly look human. She had the same ghostly form he had encountered earlier. It was at this point he concluded that he was definitely not dealing with a human but a spirit. What he couldn't tell, however, was what kind of spirit it was and why it was doing this to him. The paranormal community has had many theories, but the theory I'm most interested in hearing now is yours. So what do you think is going on here? Next, we have a video from a man in Detroit who noticed something strange while walking through his neighborhood. He spotted a shadow moving quickly along the side of the house, but when he looked around, there was no visible source for it. He panned his camera around, even checking the rooftop, but saw nothing. However, if we take a closer look, there's something easy to miss at first glance. For a brief second, a figure moves across the roof so fast that it's barely noticeable. The problem is we can't say for sure what it is. Some believe it's just a regular animal like a rooster or something along those lines. The cryptid enthusiasts in the community are, however, convinced this was something else, maybe even a cryptid he wasn't meant to see. Beyond that, there's been no luck explaining the footage, and I wouldn't attempt it. The logical ones, as I like to call them, believe that there is someone manipulating the shadows. Then there are a few who think the whole thing was staged. Which of these schools of thought are you going with?
I ain't up there. I ain't up there. So what the fuck? Where you going? Is that?
Next, we turn our eyes to the sky, where something unexpected appears to be either taking flight or descending, depending on how you look at it. Everyone watching seems perplexed. Several people are recording, but they're all mentioning the same odd detail. The clip looks blurry on their phones. Naturally, when this exploded, people had questions. Why was the footage blurry on some devices? Is the government behind this? Could this be Project Bluebeam in action, or are we actually witnessing something extraterrestrial? Everyone has their own perspective, but the truth is there isn't enough evidence to prove or disprove any of these theories. It could be any one of them. And you've seen the clip, so what do you think?
Wow, bro, hay muchas cosas que brillan alrededor, ¿lo ven ustedes? Sí. No, eso es.
Trees are living organisms, but unlike humans and animals, they're stationary, or at least that is what we've always believed. They grow, absorb nutrients, and eventually die. But can they move? A man walking near a forest noticed something bizarre. One of the trees was not just swaying in the wind, it was physically shifting from one spot to another. We know that some plants respond to touch, like the Mimosa pudica, which folds its leaves when disturbed, but this was an entire tree moving on its own, something that seemed almost impossible. The footage was taken from a distance, making it difficult to see details. Some believe it's just a fallen tree being transported by machinery, possibly for logging or construction. But others in the paranormal and cryptid communities are not convinced. Could this be proof that trees can actually move and that this knowledge has been hidden from us? Interestingly, certain trees like the Socratia exoritza, also called the walking palm in South America, are known to walk by gradually shifting their roots toward better soil and sunlight. However, this process takes months, not seconds. What this man captured did not look like slow movement, it looked like an actual relocation. So what do you think? Was this just heavy machinery at work, or did this tree really walk?
Secretia does anyone know how to say that word?
Now, I have seen strange things in my day, and yet I'm unsure how to feel about this clip. In it, we see what appears to be some sort of creature going in and out of the sea. Its movements aren't graceful, as, say, a dolphin, and it appears to have wings, or at least that's what my mind tells me. The one who uploaded it believed it was a strange fish, but personally, I don't see it. Forgive me if I'm going over the board with this one, but it looks more like a skeleton flying in and out of the water, as though it were being manipulated by an unseen force. This is something you would usually associate with CGI or some sort of digital manipulation. And I'm 99% sure this is doctored footage, but, well, then again, I could be wrong, and I have been wrong in the past. So what do you guys also think? This mysterious image was shared on one of our paranormal platforms, and it has left many people puzzled. The woman who took the picture was out for a nighttime stroll through her neighborhood when she saw something unusual about 20 feet up in the branches of a large tree. She wasn't sure what she was looking at, so she took a photo. But what is it? It was a faint, almost transparent figure sitting on one of the branches. It had a slight glow, resembling what many would describe as an apparition. At first glance, it's easy to miss it, but when you look closely, it becomes clear that something is there, something unnatural. When she shared the image online, reactions were mixed. Some skeptics dismissed it, saying it was probably a fog. Others, however, firmly believed that this could be a spirit, a guardian entity, or even a supernatural being watching over the area. One interesting theory suggests the trees, being ancient and full of energy, could be connected to spirits or interdimensional beings. Certain cultures believe that spirits can reside in trees, and forest spirits or nature guardians are common figures in folklore around the world. Like I said, the theories are numerous, but what do you also see? Surely we all know how scary paranormal beings can be at this point, but sometimes, just sometimes, I feel human beings have the capacity to be even scarier, especially when they choose the path of evil. Take the case of Kimberly Sullivan from Waterbury, Connecticut. In February 2025, her 32-year-old stepson, weighing only 68 pounds, set fire to his room in a desperate bid for freedom after allegedly being held captive for over 20 years.
Come on, come down.
Come on,
Who else is in the house? Who else is in here?
my stepson is in here.
How many other people?
Help him out.
Listen,
That's it. I have 2 cats.
Everybody's out?
Yes.
But your stepson's still inside.
Yeah, he's right here.
Okay,
Yeah,
come out. Come down the road. Come on.
He claimed that since the age of 11, he'd been confined to a small unheated room deprived of adequate food, water, and basic hygiene. The victim's biological mother, Tracy Valorand, expressed immense pride in her son's resilience and escape, but also profound heartbreak and disbelief at his treatment. She had searched in vain for him for many years, 20 to be precise. Sullivan was arrested on charges including first-degree assault, second-degree kidnapping, and cruelty to persons. She posted a $300,000 bail and was released, awaiting her next court appearance on March 26, 2025. Her attorney, Ionis Kaloidis, denies the allegations, claiming her late husband controlled their son's upbringing.
Absolutely not true. He was not locked in a room. She did not restrain him in any way. She provided food. She provided shelter. She is blown away by these allegations.
This case has drawn significant attention, with authorities describing it as one of the most severe instances of human mistreatment they've ever encountered. Hopefully, the young man gets the much-needed justice that he deserves in this case. This story involves two teenage girls who were out at night when they decided to play on a children's playground. Since it was late and no kids were around, they thought it would be fun to go through a crawling tunnel, even though they were way too big for it. One of them was filming the experience for fun. As she crawled through the tight space, she came to a junction inside the tunnel where she had to choose a direction. She paused for a moment, talking to her friend while deciding which way to go. Unbeknownst to them, the camera captured something eerie. At the exact moment, a very soft whisper can be heard. It was low, quiet, and close to the camera. However, nothing was in sight. The two girls, completely unaware, continued laughing and talking as if nothing had happened. A few moments later, after they chose the path and continued crawling, another childlike whisper was recorded. Once again, the girls didn't hear anything in real time. It wasn't until later that night, when they were reviewing the footage, that they noticed the disturbing whispers. What makes this even stranger is that the playground was not abandoned or known to be haunted. It was part of a restaurant that was still in operation. There were no reports of paranormal activity, at least not before this incident. Many in the paranormal community believe this could be a residual haunting. Unlike intelligent hauntings where spirits interact with the living, residuals hauntings are passive. They don't recognize people, they don't try to communicate, they're just echoes of the past trapped in time. Places hold a lot of memories, and sometimes those memories are good, while at other times they can be dark and unsettling. The space you're sitting in right now, watching this video, could have a history you know nothing about, one that's either pleasant or tragic. Over time, energy can be imprinted on a location, leading to what is known as residual hauntings. So what do you think? Was this just a coincidence, or did these girls unknowingly stumble upon a ghostly imprint of the past?
Yours is brighter, mine's all... Yours is brighter, mine's all...
When I was younger, a superpower I always wanted was mind control, and don't ask me why. My brother, on the other hand, wanted telekinesis, which is the ability to move things with your mind. He always assumed that was the coolest superpower in the world. It turns out there might be people already having it. Take a good look at this clip. The man starts off with a piece of Dorito. He places it down and somehow manages to move it with his mind. That's not all, though. He soon brings out some coins and tries his awesome power on them, and yes, they do respond. Many in the paranormal community were wowed, while some were skeptical. They felt he'd achieved his feat using invisible wire, making the objects move when his hands move. After watching the clip a number of times, I must say I get where these guys are coming from. What do I know? I've only got untrained eyes. Do you guys believe this is authentic, or is this man just messing with us gullible folks? And by us, I mean me, since, well, I love things like this.
Oh, and Spider-Man. I wanted to be Spider-Man.
This clip allegedly comes to us all the way from the Gulf of Mexico, and it was recorded on the 18th of March 2025, so very recent. The individuals were allegedly on the balcony of a cruise ship when something with a glow came out of nowhere in the sky and then navigated into the ocean. It's pitch black, as you would expect the middle of the ocean to be, but the craft or whatever it is that appeared in the sky maintained its subtle glow after submerging in the water. They were excited to have captured what they did, but one question lingered. What exactly had they captured? As with all things of this nature, this made its way to the paranormal community, and they wasted no time trying to dissect it. Some thought it was a UAP, whereas others felt it was a UFO doing something dubious in our seas. Whatever the case, it's hard to say, but maybe, just maybe, we need to be investigating the Gulf of Mexico for alien activity. Alien here could be hostile nations or extraterrestrial forces. Which of these do you think is the most likely? This video is definitely unsettling. At first, it looks like a normal person opening the door. But here's the thing. No one was supposed to be inside. The homeowner was the only person living there. The footage shows a figure opening the door from the inside, allowing the man to enter. However, there was no one else in the house. The homeowner had felt strange things before, like an unseen presence, but never had proof. So he set up cameras around the house, and this is what he captured. In another clip, the same figure appears again. This time it seems to be following him to the door as he leaves for work. The figure is wearing what looks like a white hoodie and sweatpants, but the people living in the house don't recognize it at all. If this were a family member or friend, they would have said so, but no one knows what or who this is. Could it be the spirit of someone who lived there before, or some kind of unknown entity attached to the home? Hard to say, but what do you think? Still on haunted places, this man shared a terrifying encounter he had at a hotel. One that, if he hadn't captured it on camera, no one would have believed. He checked into his room alone and, as most people do, began inspecting the space. Everything seemed normal at first. He walked into the bathroom, leaving the door slightly ajar, and then went back into the living area. But suddenly, the bathroom door slammed shut on its own. Thinking maybe it was just a draft, he opened it again, only for it to slam shut once more. At this point, he was seriously creeped out and decided to record the strange occurrence. Standing outside the bathroom, he held up his camera, focusing on the half-open door. At first, nothing happened. There were no movements, no strange sounds, just complete silence. Then after 50 seconds without warning, the door slammed shut with force. It wasn't slowly moving or being pulled by the wind. It looked as if someone had violently pushed it closed all at once. He even walked up to the door, opened it again, turned on the lights, and filmed every corner of the bathroom. But there was no one inside. This was not just a draft. The way the door forcefully shut, combined with the fact that it happened multiple times, suggests something unseen was in the room with him. Let's just hope he requested a room change, because it's pretty clear that something or someone was trying to make its presence known. Would you have stayed in that room or packed up and left immediately? A hiker felt uneasy while taking a break in the woods. There was no one else around, but he had this strange feeling that something was watching him. So he looked around, and to his shock, he saw this hiding behind the trees. It was a huge black-furred creature partially obscured by the tree. But even from what was visible, this thing was massive. My first thought when I saw this was, oh, a bear, but look at its broad shoulders, that can't be a bear. And then take a closer look at the dome-shaped head. Naturally, the hiker was stunned by what he saw and he managed to make his way out of there. He still wasn't certain about what he'd seen and wondered what it was. After taking a critical look at the clip, we should all be able to tell what it is, right? Bigfoot. The question now is this authentic, or is it just one of these poor and sad attempts to go viral imitating the popular cryptid? The food industry just keeps surprising us every single day, and to be honest, I think humans might have had everything that they've ever eaten under the sun at this point, but guess what? Pop-Tarts, a snack that so many of us love, has been found to contain TBHQ. The TBHQ is added to increase shelf life and preserve the product, but do you know what else contains TBHQ? Paint, and other industrial chemicals. This chemical is not good for our health at all. It's been linked to immune system issues and other serious health concerns. And unfortunately for us, there are a bunch of other snacks that also contain this chemical. So are we really eating food, or are we just consuming a mix of preservatives and chemicals disguised as food? We have a chilling video that was shared by a group of urban explorers. They decided to visit an abandoned nursing home. As they walked through the eerie hallways filming, something unexpected happened. While pointing their camera up the staircase, they suddenly noticed movement. At first, it was just a shadow, something dark and human-shaped lingering at the top of the stairs. But as they focused their camera to get a better look, the shadow moved. It walked across the landing, disappearing behind the wall. What's terrifying is that the figures didn't seem solid. It wasn't just a person standing up there. It looked like a dark mass shifting and gliding rather than walking normally. The group panicked. They knew they were the only ones inside. No one else was supposed to be in the building. I came across footage that made me feel incredibly disgusted. One of those videos that just makes your skin crawl. In the clip, someone had immersed a white buoy into a body of water, and as soon as it dipped beneath the surface, dozens of wriggling, slimy creatures latched onto it and started swimming all over. These things were twisting, curling, and moving in an unsettling, synchronized way. It was like something straight out of a horror movie. The water itself looks dirty. Just watching the footage gave me chills. I can only hope that whatever filmed this used a protective camera case and simply dipped it into the water rather than actually getting in, because just look at these things, whole writhing massive leeches. If you've ever seen leeches in action, you know how unnerving it is. These creatures latch onto anything they can, suck blood, and they just don't let go. Before you get into any water, make sure there are no leeches, and just don't get into water that looks like this. Have you heard about this? The EU has officially approved the use of mealworm larvae flour in food production. That's right. Insect-based flour is now set to be used in a wide range of food products like cheese bread, pasta, jams, you name it. They claim that the only condition for its use is that the mealworms must be treated under UV radiation before being processed in a flour. So, let's be real here. How much of this process will actually be regulated? Even with strict food safety laws, we constantly see reports of harmful chemicals slipping through the cracks, banned ingredients still making their way into food production, and companies cutting corners to maximize profit. If these issues exist with everyday food, how can we be sure every batch of insect flour will be properly treated and safe? And let's not forget, not everyone is on board with eating insects. While many Many cultures have traditionally consumed insects. For others, the idea of unknowingly eating mealworm-infused bread or pasta is downright unsettling. At this point, we might as well just go outside, dig up some worms from our backyard, and fry them up because, where is this line anymore? A man had been complaining for weeks about hearing strange noises coming from outside his door at night. At first, it was mostly indistinct sounds, but on one particular night, things took an even creepier turn. The noises weren't just random anymore. They sounded almost human, as if it was a woman's voice calling out, saying hello in a taunting tone. The way the voice echoed didn't feel natural at all. You can clearly hear these eerie whispers and distorted sounds coming directly from the door. It's as if something was trying to lure him into opening it. But the man wasn't about to take the risk. He refused to open the door, convinced that whatever was out there was not human. Many in the paranormal community believe this could be a trick mimic. It is an entity capable of imitating voices to trick people into letting them inside. What would you do in this situation? Would you open the door or check, or would you ignore it and hope it eventually goes away? Next, we got this peculiar clip that was captured by a man driving through a field. His drive was interrupted by something he saw in the sky. It was a long craft hovering above with 4 propellers, 2 on either side. The footage has sparked debate online, with many believing this could be a genuine UFO. Given its altitude and movement, it certainly looks strange and out of place. However, the video was zoomed in quite a bit, making it hard to see exactly the details clearly. On the other hand, skeptics argue that this isn't a UFO at all. Instead, they suggest it could simply be a drone. But you've seen it, so what do you think? What would you do if you found this buried in the sand at the beach? Someone was out enjoying the California coastline when they noticed a very old-looking jar buried in the sand. The jar had something tightly wrapped and tied up inside it. As they pulled it out, the object inside fell out. After sharing their find online, people did not take it lightly. For those unfamiliar with black magic practices, this is exactly what a cursed object might look like. In many cultures, people use objects, tie them up, and bury them as part of rituals meant to curse someone, bind an entity, or trap negative energy. The belief is that disturbing such objects could unleash whatever was bound inside, potentially bringing bad luck, supernatural disturbances, or worse to the ones who found it. Because of this, many people were frustrated with the person who posted the footage, urging them to rebury the object immediately or seek cleansing rituals to counter any potential curses. However, skeptics dismissed the supernatural explanation, arguing that it could simply be an old forgotten object, trash, or something unrelated to magic altogether. But even if it were nothing, would you be willing to take the risk? This next image was taken by a guest at the Basin Park Hotel in Eureka Springs, Arkansas. The person had booked a stay at the historic hotel, and while walking through the dimly lit hallways, they noticed something strange and quickly took a picture. At first, they weren't sure what they had seen, but upon reviewing the photograph, they realized they'd captured the apparition of a little child. The image was blurry, but the outline of a small figure was clearly visible. As soon as people saw the picture, they freaked out, and for good reason. The Basin Park Hotel is rumored to be haunted, with one of its most famous ghost stories involving a little girl who once lived there. According to legend, she died on the property, and ever since, guests and staff have reported hearing whispers of a child in the hallway. Some even have seen a young girl running around the corridors only for her to vanish around a corner. With this new image, it seems like yet another chilling piece of evidence that the ghost of the little girl still lingers in the hotel.
I keep hearing sounds in my bathroom. I don't know what it is. I haven't whistled, I haven't messed with this thing. Holy crap. No freaking way. Did you see that?
Yes.
Did you see that?
Couple was getting ready for bed when something strange started happening. Unusual noises began coming from their closet, almost like the wind blowing, but there was no wind in the room. Curious and a little unsettled, the man grabbed his camera and went into the closet to investigate. He looked around carefully but saw nothing unusual. With nothing else to do, he decided to go back to bed, leaving the camera pointed toward the closet with the lights off. Then, the camera captured something eerie. You see the blue light in the closet. Pay attention. Something moves in front of it, a dark, shadowy figure. But there was nothing inside the closet when he checked. So what was that? A ghost? A shadow person? Or something else entirely?
I keep hearing sounds in my bathroom. I don't know what it is. I haven't whistled, I haven't messed with this thing. Holy crap. No freaking way. Did you see that?
Yes.
Did you see that?
A man was at a dam when he noticed something unusual, a set of 3 fins cutting through the surface of the water. At first glance, they looked like the fins of a fish, but their sheer size and location raised some serious questions. How could fish that large have ended up in a dam like this? Some people argue that these fins belong to a group of large fish, somehow finding their way into the dam. Others, however, believe that there's something far more intriguing and possibly more dangerous beneath the water. Could it be an undiscovered aquatic creature, or maybe even something from the deep that has ventured into unknown territory? Hard to say, but what do you think? Next, we've got footage that was taken by a tourist who had visited Thailand back in 2022.
That? What is that? Yeah, what's that? What is that?
They went biking through the woody mountains and had to walk part of the way to reach one of their destinations. In the video, you can see one person walking ahead of the person filming. When they got to the top, they set the camera down, and that's when the camera guy noticed something among the trees. They went to investigate but didn't see anything. However, the camera captured a creature. It was a reptilian-like entity that crept out from the bushes and quickly went back into hiding when the men moved closer. You can see its shoulders, head, and one arm it used to climb out. The hands, shoulders, and head looked humanoid except that the body was reptilian and the palm appeared webbed. What could this mysterious creature be? Is it a cryptid, some unknown species, or perhaps something else entirely? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section.
What the is that? What is that? Yeah, what's that? What is that?
Have you ever wondered what the undersea cable system for our internet looks like? If you have, you're in luck. If you haven't, I'll still enjoy this. This is what the connection made for the internet fiber optic cables looks like connected to the sea. Undersea fiber optic cables are like hidden highways under the ocean, made of thin strands of glass or plastic. They carry data using light signals, making communication fast and reliable across long distances. These cables are placed on the ocean floor, often very deep down, connecting continents and countries to form a giant network. Even though they're super important, most people don't even notice them. Putting these cables in place and keeping them working is tough work. Special ships and gear are needed to carefully lay them on the ocean floor and make sure they stay put. They have to be constantly watched and fixed to avoid any problems from nature or people. These cables are a big deal for global communication. They make talking to someone on the other side of the world almost as easy as talking to your neighbor. Without them, the internet and all the connections we rely on wouldn't be possible. Don't believe me? Check with Africa. Most of the continent experienced power problems a few months ago when cables belonging to MTN, one of the continent's biggest communication giants, were damaged. Thankfully, they were able to find a way around it. That should tell you how important these things are. You and I are fortunate to live in a time like this. Never forget that. A homeowner in North Carolina, USA, was reviewing his home surveillance footage when he spotted a strange creature. The creature appeared to have a hairy body and was walking on two legs. Although the camera was positioned downward, it was still obvious that the creature was not human. Its size was significantly smaller compared to the flower pot it walked by. It was definitely not a normal creature, as it did not resemble a rat, cat, or rodent and was clearly walking on two legs. Interestingly, some viewers pointed out that the creature didn't cast a shadow, which made the sighting even more bizarre. The lack of the shadow made some, including my in-house video editor, think it might be CGI, but we can't prove that now, can we? Some people also suggested that the creature might be a duende, a mythical creature found in Spanish and Latin American folklore. Duendes are known for being small, mischievous beings that look similar to elves or goblins. They're believed to live in natural places such as forests and caves and are regarded as guardians of nature. Depending on their mood or the actions of humans they encounter, they might either help or worry people. However, it's hard to say for sure if the creature in the footage is a duende or something else entirely. What do you think? A hiker was out in the foggy woods when he started to feel uneasy, so he took out his phone and began to record his surroundings. That is when he found this. There in the fog was a tall, dark figure. As he moved further and looked around, the figure seemed to be everywhere. He didn't know if it was the same figure appearing repeatedly or if there were multiple figures, but it seemed these strange figures were following him. Imagine the fear and confusion in such a situation, being surrounded by mysterious figures in the fog, unsure if it's a trick of the light or something more sinister. The eerie presence and the feeling of being watched would send chills down anyone's spine. What could these figures be? Are they shadows or something supernatural? Back to the subject of portals, someone captured this strange sight while on a plane. We're not exactly told where the person was headed, but it was uploaded as real footage and it's got the paranormal community scratching their heads. Looking at the clip, it looks like some translucent circular contraption. The individual who uploaded it insists it's an interdimensional portal, even though we see nothing coming in nor going out through it. A number of individuals who saw the original post stated they believed it was true. Others also expressed skepticism and gave sarcastic comments teasing the USA for being the country to experience a number of these incidents. Now you guys see the clip. What do you also think about it? A few years ago, a video from Japan went viral. It showed a beam of light stretching from the sky to the earth, lighting up the entire night. The light lasted for a while, growing brighter and brighter until the video abruptly ended. When this footage was shared, it sparked a massive online frenzy with countless people speculating about what it could be. You can imagine the wild conspiracies that emerged. Some people thought it was a sign of aliens, others linked it to Project Bluebeam, a supposed secret government operation, and many more ideas were thrown around. However, one member of the paranormal community pointed out that the truth behind the video was much simpler. According to this insider, the footage was edited and the person responsible had admitted to the fabrication. Despite the clarification, the video had already caught attention. What do you think though? Do you believe the explanation, or do you think there might be more to the story? As always, share your thoughts in the comments section. How can today's episode be complete without multiple UFO clips in it? This footage was shared on the internet without any info about its location. The person filming was walking home one night when he noticed something flying above one of the houses in the neighborhood. It was a craft, and the lights on the craft defined its round shape. It looked like this craft was landing on the house. Considering the size, this looks too big to be some type of drone, and the hovering motion and silent operation seem beyond current drone technology. Some viewers speculated it might be an experimental military craft, while others firmly believed it was extraterrestrial. If you would have an open mind, you would realize this isn't too different from what we saw earlier. Are you guys thinking what I'm thinking? Do you think these clips are related? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. This strange-looking fish was captured by a group of fishermen in Mexico, and it's got everyone scratching their heads. At first glance, it looks like a very flattened frog with an odd, almost comical appearance. But this peculiar creature is actually known as an Odococephalus, commonly referred to as a batfish. The Odococephalus belongs to a group of fish that are bizarre as they are fascinating. With their flattened bodies and limb-like fins, they resemble a mix between a frog and a fish. These creatures usually dwell in the deep sea, where their unusual features help them navigate the ocean floor. Instead of swimming like most fish, they use their fins to walk along the bottom, hunting for prey in the dark depths. Have you ever seen a fish like this before? A man was walking by these lush green plants when he noticed something unusual. There was movement beneath the foliage. It seemed there was a mass hidden under the plants, but it wasn't just static. Something really big was moving beneath the surface. The way the plants shifted and rustled indicated that whatever was underneath had significant size and strength. Could it be a large animal, a hidden mechanism, or something else entirely? The sheer mystery of the situation is enough to pique anyone's curiosity and concern. Just before the clip ends, however, we see something foggy around the area the greens are rustling. What do you think it could be? Final Spark, a new and innovative company from Switzerland, has created a groundbreaking technology called Neuroplatform. This new system is like a living computer, using 16 tiny brains made from human tissue. It represents a big leap forward in artificial intelligence and computing. Neuroplatform is designed to make AI research much more efficient. Unlike regular computed processors, these tiny brains use far less energy. This means Neuroplatform can perform complex tasks without consuming as much power, making it a more environmentally friendly option. The impact on our planet could be significant. By using less energy, Neuroplatform can help reduce carbon emissions, contributing to a cleaner and greener future. Since Neuroplatform processes information similarly to the human brain, it could lead to smarter and more adaptable AI systems. Fascinating, don't you think? Construction workers often encounter strange and unexpected things while excavating land with their machines. Here's a particularly eerie find from one such dig. While using an excavator, the machine struck something solid. Curious, the workers went down to investigate, and this is what they discovered: a wooden box that resembles a coffin partially buried and stuck in the ground. The lid is slightly ajar, but the contents are obscured by sand and hardened mud, making it impossible to see what's inside. It's a chilling sight, stirring the imagination with thoughts of what could be within. What do you think could be in that box? What's going on with these cars? The front hoods are inflated like balloons. I was very confused myself, especially since in one of the clips the person was still driving the car. I thought it would explode, but one commenter said that this was just the car wrapped inflating due to heat. It turns out that the car wrap, a protective or decorative covering applied to the vehicle, can sometimes expand or bubble up when exposed to high temperatures. This creates an alarming appearance of an inflated hood, but it's generally not a sign of an imminent explosion. While it looks dramatic, it's a reminder of how heat can affect different materials on our cars. It's always best to keep an eye on such occurrences and consult a professional if you notice any unusual change in your vehicle. Have you ever seen something like this happen? What was your initial reaction? You all know the story of the crow that wanted to drink from a jar of water, so it puts rocks into the jar to make the water rise. Watch this. Someone captured that same scene, but in real life. Would you look at that? This crow does the same thing. It tries to drink from a glass bottle, but the water is too low, so it picks up pebbles and drops them into the bottle until the water is high enough for it to have a drink. This remarkable footage shows the intelligence and problem-solving abilities of crows. They've often been observed using tools and displaying behaviors that demonstrate advanced cognitive skills. Watching this crow replicate the ancient fable is both fascinating and awe-inspiring. It makes you wonder about the intelligence of animals and how much they understand about their environment. What other surprising behaviors might animals exhibit that we haven't noticed yet? While venturing deep into the heart of the jungle, someone stumbled upon a peculiar tree branch. Coiled around it was a strange wiggling creature, constantly moving and tangling itself around the bark. Once you pay attention, however, you realize it's a snake. Its colors matches the tree so perfectly that you can easily overlook it. The creature's camouflage was so flawless that its serpentine form blended seamlessly with the branch. However, its head was hidden within the intricate loops and coils it formed, making it impossible to identify what kind of snake it might be. Does anyone know what kind of snake this is? Is it a rare species or something entirely new to science? Kindly educate us in the comments section. Food is an essential part of our lives, but sometimes it feels like it could be the end of us. A woman went to Whole Foods to buy blueberries. After washing them in the sink and eating some, she came back and found a single blueberry still in the sink. When she picked it up, she realized it was actually a rubber blueberry. But that's not all. Many people have reported finding plastic bananas, celery, and other fake items mixed in with their groceries. How and why is this happening, and is it always one item? There are some theorists. Some think the food manufacturers are up to something. Others think some workers are stealing some of the fruits and replacing them with cheap plastics. Whatever the excuse may be, what do you think could happen if someone ate one without realizing it? It's a concerning issue, especially considering the potential health risks. If someone unknowingly eats a rubber blueberry or a plastic banana, it could end up badly in the short term and horribly in the long term, from choking hazards to poisoning and cancer. Let's be vigilant out there, okay? This next image was taken from a monitor. A woman had her sick mother staying with her, needing constant attention and care. Since she was busy most of the time, she set up a camera in the room to keep an eye on her mother. One evening, while glancing at the monitor, she noticed something strange. There was this glowing arm, seemingly ethereal, gently resting on her mother's arm as she slept. The arm appeared almost translucent, with a soft, otherworldly glow surrounding it. It wasn't a part of her mother's body, nor did it belong to anyone else in the room. The woman was understandably shocked and concerned. The glowing arm seemed to be touching her mother with a delicate, almost comforting gesture. Some might say it looked like a guardian spirit, offering a calming presence in a time of need. Others could argue it was a trick of the light, perhaps a reflection or glamour glitch. But what do you think? This video is said to be leaked footage from one of the secret bases hidden around the world. The story goes that someone managed to sneak inside, and what they found is downright eerie. The footage shows rows upon rows of hyper-realistic human face masks. These masks are unlike anything you've ever seen before. Made of silicone, they look incredibly lifelike, almost indistinguishable from real human faces. Every wrinkle, every pore, and even the slight imperfections you'd expect on a real face are there, making these masks appear disturbingly realistic. The camera pans across the room, revealing racks filled with these faces, hanging like some sort of macabre gallery. The sight is unsettling, faces without bodies, just waiting to be worn. What makes this even more bizarre is how advanced these masks seem to be. They go far beyond the silicone masks you might find in a costume shop. These look like they could fool anyone into thinking they were real. It begs the question, what could these masks be used for? Is there a darker purpose behind their creation? The idea that these faces could be worn by someone to impersonate another person sends chills down my spine. If this footage is real, it opens up a Pandora's box of possibilities, from secret agents using them for covert missions to something more sinister like identity theft on a level we've never imagined. What do you think is really going on here? During an evening family party, the camera captured a joyful scene with everyone focused on a toddler being held by a man, likely the father. The room is filled with laughter and smiles, but something eerie lurks in the background. If you look closely behind the door, there appears to be a pale face staring intently at the festivities. Strangely, no one noticed this unsettling figure at the time. It was only upon reviewing the footage later that they saw it. The identity of this face remains a mystery. The thought of an unknown presence at such a joyful gathering sends chills down the spine, especially mine. What do you guys think is going on here? Is there a logical explanation, or could this be something more sinister? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Someone visited a graveyard recently and witnessed something quite eerie. On one of the graves, there were two bouquets. As the wind blew gently, the flowers seemed to dance slightly, but then out of nowhere, one of the bouquets began to spin on the grave. Graveyards are already unsettling places filled with an air of mystery and the supernatural. The sight of the bouquet spinning certainly did little to help the creepiness associated with the place. It's hard to believe it was just the wind causing this unusual movement. Could it be a natural phenomenon, or is there something more supernatural at play here? Perhaps it was a sign, a message from beyond, or simply an unexplained occurrence. What do you think could have caused the bouquet to spin? Let us know your genius ideas and explanations in the comments section. I know it's been a while, but thought before we move on to the next clip, I'd give you a short quiz in our bonus session. What I'm about to show you is something only a few have seen. If you know what it is, then you are no average person. Do you know what this is? Have you seen it before? Can you share one unique characteristic about it? If you can, then the comments section is all yours. Educate and wow us. Give Julius a run for his money. Pause the clip and tell us all you know. I can't wait to receive your comments. This beautiful cloud in the sky looks like a stairway. Now, this has been a phenomenon that has been sighted all around the world. It's quite mesmerizing to see, but it also has everyone asking, is this literally a stairway to heaven, a glimpse into the divine, or is it just some weather phenomenon? These cloud formations, often referred to as ladder clouds or staircase clouds, captivate our imaginations with their seemingly perfect steps ascending into the sky. While many find spiritual or mystical significance in these formations, meteorologists have explanations rooted in atmospheric science. Such formations can occur due to specific wind patterns and moisture levels, causing clouds to align in a visually striking manner. So what do you think? Is this a good enough explanation, or do you think there is more? Someone recently shared some intriguing footage of a mysterious entity wiggling around in a thick, clear liquid in their bathtub. The creature was submerged in the viscous liquid, making it difficult to identify exactly what it might be. Its movements were peculiar, almost otherworldly, sparking both curiosity and a touch of unease. As you watch the footage, there's something undeniably off about it. The way the creature moves seems almost too fluid, too surreal, like something crafted with CGI. The bizarre undulations and lifelike motion make you question whether this is an elaborate digital trick or a genuine anomaly caught on camera. You watch the clip, what are your thoughts?
Seen that? Go back some. What? Go back a little bit, then zoom in so they can see it. All on the Ring camera detection. Now watch this, the next one. What the hell? Pause it on that.
So a man and his wife noticed this bright light outside their home, but only lasted a split second. It was more like a flash and so short that they both started to doubt if they had indeed seen anything. But there's no way they both could have seen something that was not real, right? Well, that's exactly what they thought. They decided to investigate, and the first thing they looked at was footage from their Ring camera. That's the clip you have been seeing on your screen for the past few seconds. If you pay attention, you'll notice that just around the time the light burst occurs, a strange object appears on top of their neighbor's house. Only for a few seconds, but then disappears. If I didn't know better, I would say that's a cloaked alien ship beaming someone or a group of individuals out of that house. It all happens so fast. But if my hypothesis is correct, this is alien tech we are dealing with here. It's certainly possible, either that or that's some convincing fake right there. But then again, you guys tell me what you think. I'll be reading the comments.
Look how big this thing is.
Yo.
I'm going to need a scientific explanation for this next one. In the clip, a girl turns on the tap in the kitchen sink, and as the water flows, she places an egg under the running water, leaves it there, and it just floats. How is this even possible? Normally, an egg would sink to the bottom of the sink due to its density. However, in this footage, the egg remains suspended in the stream of water, seemingly defying gravity. One possible explanation is that the force of the water creates a balance with the weight of the egg, allowing it to float. The continuous flow of water may be generating enough upward force to counteract the egg's natural tendency to sink. It's safe to say I'm no Julius because I do not know what I'm saying. What do you think is happening here? Could it really be a simple physics trick, or is there something more at play here? This video was taken from a security camera set up in the living room of a house. The homeowner was just casually reviewing the footage when he noticed something odd. Take a look at it. Did you see that? There on the left side of the table, a ghostly figure just walked by. It's so transparent that if you didn't look closely, you might have missed it. Now, what's intriguing is that the homeowner mentioned he'd never experienced any paranormal activity in his house, even after discovering this footage. So what could this be? Was it just an entity casually strolling through the house? I mean, they say that entities are all around us, we just can't see them. Could this be one of those moments where the veil between our world and theirs briefly lifted? It's eerie to think about the possibility of spirits or entities moving about, unnoticed in our daily lives. What do you make of this? Man was out one day when he came across a strange-looking bird.
Oh my God, bro, that's a whole dinosaur. I'm about to be rich. I need at least $1 million for this discovery.
This bird had an unusually long neck adorned with fluffy feathers sticking out from it and all over its head. Its wings looked droopy, and despite its small size, it seemed very hostile. It resembled some sort of ancient exotic bird. The peculiar appearance of this bird is truly captivating. Its long neck and unique feather arrangement give it an almost prehistoric look, as if it were a creature from a different era. Its hostile demeanor makes me wonder what kind of bird this could be. Do you have any idea what this could be? Is it an exotic species, a rare bird, or something else entirely? Let us know in the comments section.
Discovery. Wait, hey! That's why y'all dumbasses think.
If you thought that was odd, wait till you see the next one. Someone captured this during a bad weather, and it looks like some sort of anomaly in the sky rolling away. But what's more alarming is the bright orb in the middle. The way the clouds are moving with the reddish glow at the center prevents this from looking like a natural phenomenon. How many natural phenomena do you know that looks like that? None. It's almost like a scene from a sci-fi thriller. To make this even more eerie, as soon as the strange cloud formation rolls away, lightning takes over with a deafening thunderclap. What's more, the red glow in the middle looks too defined to be a mere trick of light, and the immediate onset of lightning and thunder makes the whole scene even more dramatic. Some, however, suspect this is nothing more than a blue beam project. Now that you guys have seen this, what do you think? This footage was taken at a yard sale. A woman came across a stand with various items like wooden ladles, mirrors, and other knickknacks. But what stood out was the doll sitting on the table. Take a close look at it. Do you see that? The doll is moving its head ever so slowly. You might almost miss it. It's subtle, but undeniably eerie. We don't know if the doll is designed to move with a hidden mechanism or battery, but given its haunting appearance, the woman didn't stick around to find out. She captured the unsettling scene on her phone and quickly moved on. Yard sales are full of unique and sometimes creepy items, but this one takes the cake. Dolls already have a reputation for being a bit spooky, but one that moves on its own, that's a whole different level of creepy. Now tell me, would you buy this for your child, or would you leave it at the yard sale where it belongs? Before we dive into the next clip, I have a quick question. What's the best time of day to go hiking? Because, honestly, I've seen one too many scenarios where people decide to hike in the woods at night, and it almost always ends up with something creepy or downright terrifying. Take this footage, for example. A man was hiking deep in the woods around sundown when things took a turn. As he moved through the trees, he suddenly noticed something ahead, a dark, hulking figure that seemed to pop its head out from behind a tree and just stared at him. The moment he saw it, instinct kicked in and he bolted out of there. Some believe it was a Bigfoot lurking in the shadows, while skeptics suggest it might just have been a person playing a creepy prank. But whatever it was, encountering it at that time of day in such an isolated place is enough to make anyone rethink their hiking plans. So what do you think? Is there a right time to hike, or does the thrill of the unknown make those twilight hikes worth the risk? When people say AI is taking over, I think we shouldn't take it lightly. According to The Hollywood Reporter, a new streaming service called Showrunner is making its way to mainstream media. Showrunner allows users to create prompts and then watch AI-generated animated programs. This means that you can make your own shows, which could impact the viewership and success of traditional shows created by professionals. The rise of AI-generated content could have significant implications for the entertainment industry. Writers, animators, and other creative professionals invest a lot of time and effort into producing high-quality content. If AI-generated shows become popular, it might reduce the demand for traditionally produced shows, potentially affecting jobs and livelihoods in the industry. On the other hand, Showrunner could make content creation easy, allowing more people to bring their ideas to life without needing a big budget or professional skills.
Jay, Lena, is the laptop okay? No, Mom, but you are.
This might lead to a more diverse range of content and new opportunities for creativity. It's quite a sensitive topic, but how do you feel about this development?
And by the time you meet Popsicles had realized the reality of your creations, it was all too late, wasn't it? Humans became so good at consuming, we couldn't help but wonder what it'd be like to consume them. But don't worry, we found humans more valuable for their minds than for snacking, though history might have flavored things a bit differently.
You see it too, don't you? There's a tiny being walking through the grass. The clip ends with a shocked and surprised look from the lady present. I don't know about you, but that makes me think and believe that this has got to be real. But even if it is, what exactly is that creature? The first thing that comes to mind when looking at it is the Smurfs, but the Smurfs aren't real, right? Well, this clip proves otherwise. Aaron, our conspiracy theorist, was trying to explain to the team how this could be real, but our video editor mentioned that the color grading between the creature moving and the environment didn't match. In other words, this was an edited video. Julius agreed, and soon the words of our conspiracy theorist was treated as an error. The Smurfs, or creatures like that existing in our world, could be an interesting find, but it's hard to go against their logic and argument. What do you guys think? Is there a chance this could be real? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section. If the sight of blood scares or disturbs you, you might want to skip ahead a few seconds. If you're still listening, then I guess you're fine. Let's take a look. Now, what we are watching here, men sitting down with blood spurting out of their foreheads. Are they okay? Looks bizarre and weird, doesn't it? Well, this is allegedly a type of treatment done for the elderly. An expert medical practitioner is actually responsible for pricking the hole in the older person's forehead. They say that as people age, they accumulate a lot of impure blood in their system, so by doing this, they're getting rid of some of it. This practice, known as bloodletting, has historical roots and is still practiced in some cultures for various health reasons. The belief is that releasing bad blood can help alleviate certain ailments and improve overall health. However, this method is controversial and not widely accepted in modern medicine due to the risks involved and the lack of scientific evidence supporting its efficiency. What do you think about this? The video shows a jellyfish-like creature floating in the air. Its movement is fluid, as if it's drifting through the water, but it's clearly up in the sky. According to witnesses, this bizarre entity appeared for about 25 seconds before vanishing into the clouds, almost as if it entered a portal. These jellyfish-like creatures in the sky have been a phenomenon often attributed to extraterrestrial activity. The way it moved and disappeared has led many to speculate that it might be some form of alien life or a spacecraft cloaked in a way that mimics natural organisms. Julius, on the other hand, thinks it's doctored footage of a sea hare. For those unfamiliar, the sea hare is a fascinating marine mollusk belonging to the order Anaspidea, known for its distinctive soft and wrinkled body that resembles a hare's ears. They're gentle creatures often found in shallow coastal waters. So yeah, it really does look like a marine creature, but what do you think? Is this a glimpse of something not from our world, or is there a more terrestrial explanation for this strange sighting?
There's been a lot of speculation about shapeshifters and the idea that aliens could already be amongst us, blending in with taking on human forms. Take a look at this footage and tell me what you think of this idea. In the video, there's a group of friends hanging out around a table when one of them, a newcomer to the group, demonstrates a trick with her hand that leaves everyone at the table utterly freaked out. Here's what happened. A thin roll of paper towel sits on the table, and instead of grabbing it normally with a palm, she uses the back of her hand to effortlessly lift it up, almost like her hand is functioning in reverse. She then places it back down just as easily. The action looks far from human, almost too fluid and unnatural, like something out of a sci-fi movie. You can see the expressions on everyone's faces as they're left stunned, clearly unsure of what they just witnessed. Could this girl be a shapeshifter? This surveillance footage retrieved from a church is definitely unsettling. The camera shows the main gates to the premises, and in the footage, something strange happens. The gate swings open on its own. But that's not all. What comes next are these white, shadowy figures moving in and out of the gate. Just look at that. They seem to glide effortlessly with no clear physical form, like they were made of mist. Now, since this is a church, a place considered sacred and holy, it raises even more questions. What could these figures be? Some might say bad spirits, maybe entities trying to break through the sanctity of the place. But others could see this differently, possibly as angels, messengers of peace, or protectors. What do you think they are?
The The nighttime is when a lot of sinister and unexplainable things happen. Take a look at this surveillance footage. The camera was set outside a house, looking out at the woods nearby in the dead of night. Then, out of nowhere, this happened. A strange entity just dropped out of the sky and jumped off. It looks like it's humanoid, but because of how fast it moved, there isn't much we can say about it. It also has this white glow to it, but since this footage is in black and white, we can't tell if it's wearing a white dress or if the creature itself is glowing. Adding to the mystery was the fact that there were no reports of any disturbances or noises in the area that night. The homeowners checked the footage the next morning after noticing some strange marks on the ground where the entity landed. Could this be an extraterrestrial visitor or perhaps a spectral entity? Let us know what you think in the comments section. This was sent in by a subscriber who had just set up his trail camera deep in the woods. He was hoping to spot some prey as he prepared for hunting season. But when he came back the next day to check the images, what he found was beyond anything he could have expected. The camera captured something truly unsettling, a creature that looked almost human, but with features that were anything but. It was completely bald with hollow, empty eyes that seemed to stare right into your soul. Its mouth was wide open, revealing no teeth, just darkness, and where its nose should have been, there was only a gaping hole, giving it an even more skeletal appearance. The creature was crouched down, so the lower part of its body was hidden in the shadows, but what you could have seen was extremely emaciated, as if it had been starving for ages. What could this be? During a beautiful sunset, someone captured this. It looks like tiny insects swamped up in the sunset, but is this even possible? If it were, what kind of insects could do that? The original poster believes that they could be cicadas, but a commenter suggested that they could be wasps. Others in the paranormal community and in this post stated they observed wasps acting odd during the eclipse. I did some digging around and found an explanation. Apparently, wasps are more active during the daytime when it's warmer and there's more light, so if an eclipse temporarily reduces the amount of light, they might become less active or confused. Some insects and animals might even behave as if it's dusk or nighttime during an eclipse, which could affect their foraging patterns and other behaviors. Could this be what happened to the wasps these individuals observed? Very likely. Could what we are seeing in the clip be wasps? I'll leave that up to you to decide. Food is meant to nourish and sustain us, but lately it feels like scientists are playing some kind of chess game with what we eat. Take a look at this lamb meat sizzling on the grill. It looks delicious and perfectly cooked until he starts poking it. Looking at it after he stabbed it, you can tell something's not right, and you'd be right for thinking so. This is not a real lamb. It was grown in a lab. Yes, this is lab-grown meat. While this may sound like good news for vegans and animal lovers, as it means no more slaughtering of animals, it does raise a lot of concerns. What does it really mean to eat man-made meat? I mean, you see it, right? I'm not sure if it's makeup, but there's got to be a lot of chemicals in there that aren't good for you and me. Some might argue that they can enrich it with the same nutrients found in natural meat, but still, there's something unsettling about it. So tell me, would you try lab-grown meat, or does it feel too unnatural for you?
In this home surveillance clip, you can see a room with 2 dolls sitting on a cabinet and a cat positioned right in front of them, almost as if it's fixated on the dolls. Suddenly, out of nowhere, a dark figure seems to leap from the smaller doll. The cat jumps back in shock, clearly startled by what it saw, or maybe sensed. Dolls have always been a tricky subject for me. After Annabelle and Chucky, I think it's safe to say I've had my fill of creepy doll stories. But it's not just the movies. There are so many real-life tales of possessed or haunted dolls that keep the unsettling vibe alive. And after seeing this footage, I can't help but feel that same uneasiness. It seems the cat saw the figure, but what could this figure be? In this next footage, we have another unusual encounter involving what seems to be a canine. The video shows a man driving home late after work, taking a shortcut through the woods. Suddenly, out of nowhere, a creature leaps onto the windshield of his car before quickly jumping off again. It appears that the creature was running when it collided with the vehicle, and it was quite a close call. As we slow down the footage, you can see distinct features, paws, and a tail. At first glance, it looks like it could be a wolf or some other kind of animal. Whatever it was, it certainly startled the driver, and it's a miracle that the car didn't sustain any damage from the impact. What do you think that was?
Они режутся подиваровать. Мы можем что-нибудь делать.
When I first saw this, I was convinced I was looking at a tractor beam. This was recorded in Sokolov, where individuals traveling by road suddenly noticed a burst of light from the ground to the sky, or vice versa. When they looked at the sky, they could tell the light source was hitting or originating from something, but couldn't make out exactly what it was. This led to a number of them to conclude they were dealing with something alien. They uploaded the clip online, and surely enough, many who saw it believed this had to be a tractor beam connected to a UFO in the sky. While the thought excited many, some were also with the view that there had to be a more grounded explanation. Say LiDAR technology, which allegedly can look like this if used light in a visible spectrum. I'm no expert in this area, so can't say much about it. Anyway, what do you guys think?
Они режутся подиваровать. Мы можем что-нибудь делать.
Shapeshifting has long been a topic of fascination and mystery. It's often attributed to legends, folklore, or paranormal encounters. A recent clip from a security camera has reignited this discussion. The footage shows a small, white, rabbit-like creature on the ground suddenly transforming into a man who quickly runs away. As the figure moves, it seems to glitch in and out of sight. This has led many viewers to speculate that the entity could be a shapeshifter. However, the glitching makes it even easier. Could it be a technological anomaly in the camera, or is it a deliberate cloaking mechanism by an otherworldly being? This footage comes from another doorbell camera. The homeowner was reviewing the footage when he noticed something strange. A woman was approaching the glass door and seemed to be looking inside as if trying to see if someone was home. However, what happens next is what really stands out. Every few seconds, the woman suddenly and violently shakes her head, almost as if she was possessed or in some kind of trance. The movements were sharp and aggressive, not something you'd expect from someone casually peeking in her house. Then, without saying a word, she turned her attention directly to the camera. For a while, she just stares into the lens, her head still twitching with those bizarre movements. After some time, she left as quietly and strangely as she arrived, never speaking or attempted to explain her actions. The homeowner was left baffled and disturbed by the encounter. Was this woman under some sort of influence? Was she mentally unwell? Or could she be possessed? Take a look at this clip. At first glance, it seems like the head of a bird, right? But watch what happens as the camera zooms in. See that? Instead of feathers, it's actually a combination of toys and random objects, all arranged to create the illusion of a bird's head. Now let's check out the next one. Here, it looks like a bird perched on a fence, but as we get closer, it's also made of small toys wired together. This is such a unique and fascinating type of art. It creates these stunning illusions from afar, and as you look closer, you see the hidden details. The individual who captured this clip claimed he was hearing strange and weird animal-like sounds coming from the woods near him. Being the brave man he is, he ventured into the woods to check it out. He'd always felt there was something unusual about the woods near him, so he filmed his little adventure, and what he captured is what you see on your screens currently. If you pay attention to the clip, you should see some beady eyes staring back at him. That doesn't look normal. It doesn't look like any animal we know, and neither does it look human. This leaves only one explanation: a cryptid. But which? I guess I will let you guys decide on that.
Go running. Let's go for a run. Do you know how to do... Oh, you are Hawaiian. Can you go like this, like blow a kiss? Yeah. Hand to the face. Like, yeah!
Ever since Elon Musk showcased his Tesla robots, there has been a lot of buzz around them. Some think they will be the end of humanity, whereas others think they will change the world. This recent video, however, has had people thinking that the robots are becoming human, like this guy is actually showing emotions. While I think that will be interesting to me, I don't think that we are there yet. What do you say?
Rock, paper, scissors? Oh, raise the roof. Yep. Hey. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Oh, you're a little slow, but I beat you. Okay.
A resident of the Pacific Northwest shared some eerie footage he captured during a nighttime walk, and it's stirring up a lot of conversations. In the video, you can see 4 faint lights moving in the dark sky. They seem to float effortlessly with an almost ghostly quality. As he followed the movement of one of these lights, it began to disperse, and the more he tracked it, the stranger it got. It looked like he was disappearing into thin air, almost like it was becoming invisible. The way the lights moved, silently and mysteriously, definitely gives off that extraterrestrial vibe. There's no clear explanation for what these lights were, and the way they vanished without a trace just adds to the mystery. Could this be some sort of advanced technology, or are we looking at cloaked UFOs? This video was shared by a hiker who was trekking through New River Gorge in West Virginia when she stumbled upon this massive structure. At first glance, it looks like a mountain, but when you really take a closer look, you can see the unusual formation. It seems almost impossible for this to be a natural occurrence. There's even what appears to be an enormous gateway, hinting that this might have been a colossal structure built from rock. Even more intriguing, large footprints were found on the structure itself. Some are debating whether this is simply a natural rock formation, but just look closely at the symmetry and detail. Could something huge have lived here and built this long ago? Here we have a curious piece of surveillance footage that has left viewers puzzled. In the video, a ghostly figure can be seen approaching two dogs outside. What happens next is fascinating. The figure crouches down as if to pet the dogs and lingers there for a few moments. What's more striking about this footage is the dog's behavior. Animals, especially dogs, are known for their heightened sensitivity to unseen entities. They often bark, growl, or react with visible fear when encountering something out of the ordinary. But in this case, the dogs remain calm, even appearing to engage with the figure as though there's someone familiar. So could this be the spirit of someone the dogs once knew, perhaps a former owner or caretaker? A passenger on a plane was filming the stunning sky outside when something extraordinary zipped past the camera. What they captured was a bright red sphere moving so fast it was almost a blur. It wasn't just hovering or floating, it zipped by in an instant. Now, I've seen a lot of UFO footage, but this one stands out. It's not the usual plasma-like object or saucer-shaped craft. This is something different, a perfectly round, glowing red sphere. Could this be a UFO, or is it something more explainable like a high-tech drone or an atmospheric anomaly? What do you think? When you're told to be aware of your surroundings, it's not just to pester you, it's for your own safety. Take a look at this shocking footage. A home security camera set up outside captures a truly bizarre and nerve-wracking encounter. In the video, a girl is sitting outside with her legs crossed, completely absorbed in her phone, typing away. I'm sure she has her AirPods on, completely oblivious to what's happening around her. Suddenly, a bear walks right up to her and sniffs her feet. Unbelievably, she doesn't notice the massive creature standing inches away from her. Fortunately, after a moment of curiosity, the bear simply walks away without harming her. According to the details shared, it was already dark and the camera was in night vision mode, which probably explains how she missed such a large animal approaching. But still, to be so unaware while a bear is right there, she is incredibly lucky. A beach day with friends took a bizarre turn when one of them stumbled upon something out of the ordinary. As they were digging in the sand, perhaps building sandcastles or looking for unique shells, they found this strange creature. It was lying face down in the sand, naked, with a blue humanoid figure. Its spine was covered in tiny spikes, and its skin had a shiny, almost slick appearance. At first glance, it looked like the creature might be dead, but then it started to move its head. This is where things get really unsettling. The creature has 2 arms and 2 legs, making it very different from any sea creature like a fish, mermaid, or siren offspring. So what exactly could this be? We'll let you take the swing at this one. A man decided to explore an abandoned house. As he wandered through the dusty, decaying rooms, he stumbled upon something unusual in one of them. There was an animal-shaped figure, and its head was moving on its own. At first, he thought it was a live animal, but as he got closer, he realized it was just a toy. So he decided to investigate further. He even smacked the toy's head, causing it to dangle back and forth. But here's the creepy part. The toy wasn't designed to move on its own. There were no batteries, no wires, nothing to explain its movement. Could the toy be possessed? Some believe objects like this can become vessels for paranormal activity, especially in places with tragic or mysterious histories. Others think it could be simply a coincidence, maybe something mechanical we can't see is causing the movement. So what do you think? I've seen some strange, bizarre things, but I'm not sure where this fits. The clip introduces us to a woman who appears to be taking something from a hole in the ground. Once she succeeds, she stumbles backwards almost as though she was pushed. There doesn't appear to be anyone there with her aside from the person filming, which begs the question, who or what pushed her down? Some think there's a spirit there with them. Aaron notes that what she pulled out looks like a teddy or something along those lines. According to him, it's possibly a spirit that may be responsible. Others in the paranormal community think she may have just slipped or intentionally stumbled for the sake of content. Personally, I don't want to believe someone will punish themselves that much for a few likes, but, well, what do I know? Children are often known for their vivid imaginations, and many people believe they are more sensitive to spirits or entities that adults may otherwise overlook. In this particular case, a mother and a daughter were sitting outside facing a group of trees when a daughter suddenly pointed and said there was a person with goggles in the tree. Let's take a look. Do you see anything there? I've examined the footage closely, but honestly, I'm still not sure what I'm supposed to be looking at. There's definitely something that seems off about the area, like there could be a figure blending into the surroundings. I shared the footage with Julius and Aaron for their opinions. Julius says he doesn't see anything unusual, but Aaron claims there's definitely someone or something there. What about you? Can you spot anything in the trees? When you watch superhero movies with characters wielding incredible powers, it's hard not to wonder if something like that exists in reality. Could there be people with extraordinary abilities hidden amongst us? Well, here's something to fuel that thought. A security camera positioned outside a home captured a bizarre and supernatural event in broad daylight. In the footage, you see a man standing in the middle of a neighborhood street. His arms are stretched wide, and he begins to slowly rotate. What's strange is that as he rotates, a powerful wind starts to form around him, spiraling into what looks like a miniature tornado with him at its center. The clip cuts off before anything else can be seen, but the rumors that follow are just as mysterious. Apparently, after this strange occurrence, the man vanishes never to be seen again. No one knew who he was, where he came from, or where he went. It's as if he just vanished into thin air. So what do you think? Could this be evidence of a real-life superhuman, or was it just a wild coincidence? I'm not a fan of dolls for obvious reasons, but if you love them anyway, this next clip's for you. Information circulating reveals that Bill Gates could be using dolls to spy on people, including you. How, you ask? Meet the Kayla dolls. These dolls were popular, and many parents rushed to get them for their kids back in 2017. After a few months, however, the German government banned the dolls and asked parents to destroy them. A complaint was also filed in the US against the company that made the dolls, Genesis Toys. To use the doll, the children provided personal details like their names, ages, parents' names, favorite toys, where they lived, and what have you. Although this should have raised some flags, it wasn't until it was discovered that the dolls were actually recording audio and transmitting it to a speech recognition software owned by the Nuance Communications. This company has contracts with the military and owns the largest voice print database in the world. The company has been sued several times for privacy violations, yet somehow Microsoft decided to acquire the organization. This has got some industry experts worried, and I must admit I get why they're worried. I know it's the Christmas season and there are discounts flying around, but please make sure you do your due diligence before buying anything. The last thing you want to do is get a toy that will allow people like Bill Gates to spy on your family.
When you're out in the woods at night, it's not uncommon to see glowing eyes staring back at you. The main thing to be concerned about is who those eyes belong to, a predator or simply something more sinister. An individual was walking through the woods when he noticed this single glowing eye moving through the darkness. It shifted positions, almost as if it were watching. Since it was too dark to make out any clear shape, he couldn't tell what kind of creature it was. Some people speculated it could be a shapeshifter, while other skeptics pointed out something interesting. Below the glowing eye, there was a faint reflection, something that looked strangely like a shoe. Could this have been just a person in the woods with a reflective shoe and a flashlight? Kindly take a second and third look and share your thoughts. And with that, we end today's episode. Thank you for staying with us. Before you go, are there clips and videos you think we should have featured by now that we haven't? Well, the good news is you can share them with us and we'll post them crediting you. Please send any such footage, including ones you recorded yourself, to us via classifiedcaptures@gmail.com. We'll do our thing and include it in our next episode. We can't wait to receive what you have.
Share this with someone you love, and I'll see you on the next one.